Shalom. I'd like to share with you some words on this week's Torah portion of Vayeshev. And the Parsha begins, Vayeshev-1, and Yaakov settled down. And the Midrash expounds that Yaakov wanted to relax, he wanted to retire, live his life out in peace and tranquility. And just then, the whole episode with Joseph that we read about later on takes over and causes Yaakov years and years of hardship and sorrow. Now, the Midrash continues and says that God, so to speak, says, oh, my righteous, my tzaddikim want their reward in this world as well as in the next world? Can't be. The Midrash is trying to explain one of the fundamental questions. Why do bad things happen to good people? Why do the righteous suffer? And it's a question that we all ask in our own lives. We try to do the right thing. We try to be good people. We go out of our way to do good deeds. And yet, sometimes it just doesn't work out for us. Whereas we look around, we see people who are lying and cheating and stealing, evil people, bad people, and they're successful. Everything seems to be going great. There is no answer to this question, and the Midrash doesn't answer it because the mysteries of God, how God runs this universe, are not understandable to the human mind. So there is no answer. However, the Midrash does open up a line of reasoning which we can answer this question. You see, the Midrash tells us that our forefathers, our patriarchs and our matriarchs, the most righteous people that we can think of, all suffered, all had very tough lives. Abraham, Sarah, not having a child until very, very late in their lives. Abraham having to banish Yishmael, his oldest son, from his home. Yitzchak being blinded in his later years, having to witness the terrible strife between his children, Esav and Yaakov, of course, having to labor for 21 years, for Lavan having to flee from his brother Esav, having to go through the whole episode of his daughter being raped by Shem. And finally, Yaakov wants to relax. The bad stuff is over, right? Boom. More sorrow with the son Yosef. But despite all the hardships that our matriarchs and patriarchs faced, and all the sorrow that they had to go through, they never gave up their belief in God. They never lost their faith. And that's the answer. That's the message of the Midrash, is that you won't be able to answer the question of why bad things happen to good people, why the righteous have to suffer. You can try, you can investigate, but you will not find an answer. But don't give up. Don't let the lack of an answer destroy your faith. Don't give up faith. Your matriarchs, your patriarchs, your forefathers, your ancestors all faced hardships, harder than what you're facing. And yet, they never let their faith waver. They always held strongly to their belief in justice, in divine justice, in God. And so, in our lives, we need to realize that there are questions. God is mysterious. His ways are mysterious. We'll never understand how God runs the world. However, although we can try, we can certainly ask questions and try to investigate, try to get the answers. When we finally realize that we can't get the answers to those huge questions, we shouldn't let that derail us from our journey getting closer to God. We shouldn't let that destroy our faith. But we should strengthen ourselves, realize that there are answers, but we just don't understand it, and continue to work harder and harder to get closer to spirituality, to God, to faith. Shabbat Shalom.